What are you doing after this? Anything?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good thing that people can't hear. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Tech Talk Tuesday. I'm still your host, like it or not, Matt Ray. Joined us always with his dead shirt on, Neil Tardy, with full internet.
That
I
is
might add.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, the internet has come back.
look at you.
I have rejoined the world.
Yeah, you don't even have to phone it in literally from the interwebs.
That's right.
So proud of you right now.
Yeah. I apologize to everyone ahead of time.
We received a lot of hate mail about, and that's not true. I don't know, we've received zero mail. So yeah, that made it easy to parse through. Uh, as always, we're talking about tech and nerd stuff really in the news, things that we find interesting, and we hope that maybe you will too from the last week. And with that, we'll start our first story. This is a super nerdy part. So this is where Slashdot is running a story about the upcoming IEEE Spectrum's issue for August. And if you're not familiar with that publication, and maybe you let your subscription lapse, I actually got to tell you, I actually had a subscription to this at one point. But yeah, this is for electronic engineering. You actually get some really neat stuff in there. If you don't have a chance to get a subscription, actually, sometimes they have them for free. You should do that because you see like some cool stuff like upcoming chipsets from like Intel and AMD and stuff like that, like way before like they start getting talked about in the press. But that's not what this is about.
No.
What they're actually talking about, and I feel like this comes up about every 3 to 6 months, is like, what is the top programming language right now? And so what they've done is they compiled from a few sources, which I'm pretty sure include my Uncle Mike, and said, hey, what do you think people are doing? Now they actually looked at internet searches and things like that to figure out that Python is still the number one language. And that kind of bugs me to death. But you know what? It's fine. It's easily accessible. I get it. Right behind it is, of course, Java and C. But yeah, I don't know. You took Python and you've played around with it a little bit, right?
Yeah, Python's fun. Obviously, I already had a like programming background before that, so I started on like C sharp. So I already kind of understood data structures and like making your code readable and things like that. So coming to Python, it was a little interesting because they don't just like throw that out the window, but it's a little looser. And so, yeah, I mean, it's great for new programmers coming in to learn, to get their hands on it, to actually be able to build something very quickly and intuitively. So I actually know that a lot of colleges and high schools have moved to starting to, as the first language that people learn, to Python because of that accessibility factor. I love that it's getting people into our profession because we need more software engineers. But but yeah, I mean, I think it's a great starter language. I think that once you kind of get the basics of that, expanding outside of the Python environment is good, just to expose yourself to new ways of thinking and ways of programming. But yeah, I mean, Python's a powerful like language too, so I mean, you can't really fault it for that.
I agree with pretty much everything you said, except I know very well that it's not okay to expose yourself. Nice try, man.
Dang it. I almost trapped you. Well, speaking of one of those languages we talked about, Minecraft, which was originally written in Java, you can now boot Windows 95 and then play Doom in Minecraft. So a group of modders have come up with a mod that is called VM Computers that uses VirtualBox, which Matt and I have both used to dual boot things on our Macs. But yeah, so they use this thing called VirtualBox, and it allows you to run another operating system. And And so they're running Windows 95 in Minecraft, and it is crazy that works in and of itself. And then on top, just to throw that on top of, okay, now let's go play the original Doom. Super cool. And if you really want to get meta on it, you can actually play Minecraft as well. Like, so Minecraft within Minecraft, which is just some extra mental hoops to jump through for yourself. But yeah, this is really cool. I think that this is really cool. And I love it. So.
Is this how we discover that we are, in fact, in a simulation? Is that really what this is?
How many layers do we have to go?
A lot. And when do we get the kick? Oh, wait, that was Inception. That wasn't really related to that at all.
Yeah, but what's really interesting, too, is that at the bottom of this article, it actually says that they've actually run Windows 95 on an Xbox One and an Apple Watch. So that's really interesting as well. So it's not just in Minecraft. Like, this is something that people have been doing in other environments too, just to kind of see if we can do it. So I love it.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't wish that they were still running Windows 95?
That's right. It was the perfect operating system.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I thought that was XP.
Yeah. Or was it ME? Or was it? Yeah. Speaking of Microsoft, they're releasing a new family safety app for PCs and Xbox. But what's really important to me is that this is coming to mobile devices so that you can actually control those parental controls. I was telling Neil earlier that when I first read the title of this, I thought it said it was offering prenatal controls. And I was really curious to read the article at that point. Little disappointed. No prenatal control from Microsoft yet, or did they? We know Bill Gates is putting, I'm kidding. He's not putting chips in people. Like, just stop. But I think this is cool. And Neil pointed out, he's like, oh, you have a daughter. This is probably important for you. And that's true, but not so much for her as it is my mother-in-law. Because she will download a virus if left unchecked.
That is true. One of the really cool things about this app too is that it allows you to like designate what screen time you want per category.
Yeah.
And you can actually schedule those times very specifically. So if you only want your kid to be able to play, like, say, Fortnite from like 5 to 7, you can do that, and it'll kick your kid off of it. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I love making this easy for parents, particularly when we're all stuck inside right now, and like screen time is just kind of out of control. I know it has been even for myself. So yeah, I love it. So good stuff from Microsoft.
I suspect that there's some couples that will probably be partaking in this. The Lund family comes to mind specifically. Yeah, talking about you, Chad.
Oh goodness!
I see Cassie like saying like, "Oh no, that's fine. You've just earned 2 hours of playtime, but that's it." So yeah, I think that's pretty fascinating. But I love that we have more controls like this and more insights into our behaviors than ever. It's now then crossing the next chasm, and that's doing something about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's not gonna. It's up for everybody to decide what's healthy, and I don't necessarily think that anyone knows what's healthy for you as when it comes to screen time. So
I understand. It's Cheerios. Cheerios is healthy.
Cheerios is the answer. I understand now.
Yeah, your shirt also representing something very healthy.
Oh yes, Dead and Company. Yes, yeah, super healthy.
Right.
Well, if you missed it, The Verge has compiled some of the biggest trailers from the Xbox Series X game showcase. This included Halo Infinite, a game that looks actually pretty cool called Avowed, and also they unwrapped the new Fable that'll be coming out, which is extremely cool since it's been a while since that's been out, and also Forza Motorsport as well, or just some of the titles that they announced. Matt and I are obviously very excited about Halo Infinite, as we continue to talk about. I was a little let down, but I'm hoping that they can get it in a polished state and or just delay it if needed.
It's going to be awesome.
But one that I was not at all aware of was Avowed, which I found really interesting. The trailer itself is like super cool, like Skyrim-esque vibes, but also like kind of mashed up with like a Lord of the Rings, like Balrog like type feel. Like you feel like you're almost getting ready to attack that. And so, yeah, because there's like a bridge there too. And I was like, oh, this is totally the feel they're going for. But it caught me. And I mean, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on that and potentially picking it up when it comes out. So, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, there was definitely some good ones in here. I'm not a racing fanatic. I know you actually follow Formula One and things like that, but I actually never really got into the Forza Motorsport stuff. So that one was just okay for me. This Tetris piece is kind of fascinating. I honestly didn't know that that's where that trailer was going until it said Tetris, and I thought maybe it was a joke at first. But so it's interesting. I want to see what they're doing there. The Destiny stuff, it's always kind of fighting for our attention and money. And some of the other ones were kind of interesting. This particular one, this Tell Me Why. I was eager for someone to tell me why this game exists, because it seems like all the worst parts of going to therapy with I just like bundled in a game. But maybe I'm way off, but like this it felt really heavy and weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it says it's from the developer of Life is Strange. And if you haven't seen any gameplay of that or played it yourself, it's kind of, it feels very similar in tone. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me that was how you felt about it. Life is Strange, the game itself is strange. Good game, but definitely different. But yeah, overall, I was really impressed with what I'm seeing from Microsoft in general with the Xbox Series X. If you haven't watched the Forza trailer, like it looks beautiful.
It is pretty. It just doesn't entice me to play.
Yeah, I mean, and more than anything, I went through and watched a lot of these, and more than anything, I'm looking just to see like what is the Xbox capable of, because when a new console drops or a new generation of console drops, the first games on it aren't always going to be the most beautiful games that come with that generation, because developers are still getting to know exactly what they can do with the hardware that they're given. So, I'm really kind of looking to see, okay, where are we at the beginning? And then it kind of allows you to like see into the future a little bit on like, okay, if we're here now, going like 4 or 5 years in the future towards the end of the life cycle of the generation, you can really kind of see the direction that they're thinking and going there. So
I had a friend that could do that, see into the future once. He died in a car wreck, but up until that point, I felt like things were going well.
Well, I mean, he probably foresaw it and just accepted his fate.
But that was his way out of being my friend.
Right, yeah. Note to self, taking that note, and well, with that, that's all we have for today. So thanks for joining us on this edition of Tech Talk Tuesday. If you want to read up on any of the articles that we talked about today and or watch any of the trailers that we were talking about today, you can find them in the description below. And while you're there, go ahead and give us a subscription. We would love to see you every week, because it gets really boring talking to ourselves. So make sure you tell your friends as well that we are live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And follow us on social media, please. We are still looking for followers. I have not seen anyone give us a follow.
You're not going to get this cult up and going without followers.
I know, it's so difficult. I can only drink so much Kool-Aid.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Do you really have Kool-Aid? Because I'm out.
Oh yeah, it's grape too.
Oh, dang